Do you want Aidan O'Connell to be the Raiders quarterback in 2025? Give me a yes, give me a no down below. The reason why that I asked that question is because coming up here on today's show, Aidan O'Connell could be the Raiders starting quarterback in 2025, and I'm going to give you some reasons why it could actually happen. I'm Mitchell Renz, host of the Raiders Report, and I'm going to be honest. I'm a little bit ticked off that I even have to talk about the possibility of Aidan O'Connell being the Raiders starting quarterback. None that Aidan did. Aidan did his job, but the Raiders didn't do their job to tank for a franchise quarterback and instead won a pointless football game. Let's face the facts here. If the Raiders keep winning games, it gets more and more difficult to draft a quarterback. And I can remember a few weeks ago when I said the Raiders are in trouble with AOC starting because he's just that much significantly better than a Desmond Ridder. He's that much better than Gardner Minshew because he takes care of the football at a much higher rate. And that's simply why the Raiders were able to get a win. So because the Raiders beat the Jags, you're sitting right now at number 6. If the Raiders run into another win, if they win another few games, I mean, they could legitimately be picking at number 10 overall of the 2025 NFL Draft. So every single win that the Raiders accumulate, it makes it a little bit more difficult to get that QB. And for that reason, the Raiders might miss on a quarterback. Like, if you end up picking at number 10, which could happen with 2 more wins. Could the Raiders beat the Saints? Yeah, I think it could happen. Could the Raiders beat the Chargers, the team that Aidan O'Connell and the Raiders beat 63-21 less than a year ago? Yeah, damn it can happen. It's the NFL. Shedeur and Cam Ward, to me, are the only quarterbacks that deserve to go in round 1 of the 2025 NFL Draft. And to me, if you don't get a Cam Ward, if you don't get a Shedeur Sanders, I think Aidan starts over every single other QB on this current Raiders team. If you draft Dillon Gabriel, AOC starts. If you draft a Carson Beck, I think AOC starts. If you draft a Quentin Ewers, I think AOC starts. My point is, if it ain't Shedeur, if it ain't Cam Ward, I think Aidan would be the quarterback that ends up starting. Now, whether you like that, whether you hate it, I want you to join the family here because I think Raider Nation needs each other more than we've ever had. So please hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, join the Noti Gang, and become a part of the Raiders Report. And you're going to get free videos every single day that I can guarantee you in the year 2025. Let's go to another reason here of why I think Aidan O'Connell could be the Raiders starter next season. The Raiders could avoid signing or trading for a veteran backup quarterback. And I think sometimes when history happens, you got to make sure that you learn from history. That way it doesn't repeat itself. And I'm going to get into a lot of numbers. I'm going to get into why I could see the Raiders. And I think a lot of y'all, once you hear my reasonings of why the Raiders could avoid signing or trying to trade for a quarterback, which if you don't draft a QB, and if you don't sign one, and if you don't trade for one, it's going to be Aidan O'Connell. I'll give you those reasons here in just a moment, but here's the thing. You pick more, you pick less. It's really that easy. PrizePicks, the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Join now because the holiday season is here, and PrizePicks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Picksmas. So download the app today. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Now, I know this. Brock Bowers, go with the more. Aidan O'Connell, another one that I was just looking at was overall pass attempts. Go with the more. The Raiders are going to throw the rock. Amir Abdullah right now is another very intriguing. If there's a rushing and receiving combo, click the more. For Blake Grupe, I think he's going to end up kicking a field goal. And for a guy like Foss Moreau, a little bit of a revenge game. Guess what? Lots and lots of mores in this one. If you need something to root for, if you're sitting around on Sunday, December 29th, and you're like, I'm not going to watch the Raiders because this team ticks me off and they won a pointless game against the Jags, I do still think it's important for the silver and black and for all fans out there to watch this team because, you got to be able to figure out what this team could potentially do next season. PrizePicks is going to help you get through it. That link's in the comments. It's in the description of today's show. So why Aidan O'Connell could be the starter, I could see this team trying to avoid bringing in a veteran quarterback because you do not want another Gardner Minshew situation. Like, to me, if you're the Raiders, and I could see them doing this of going all in the draft and just rolling with Aidan. Because what you don't want is you don't want to sign a quarterback like Gardner Minshew at 2 years, $25 million, have him turn into an absolute disaster, and then you go back and you look at it and you're like, well, damn it, man, I wonder if we would have spent $25 million in a different area, just started Aidan O'Connell, how different this season could have looked. I think it would look a little bit different. But if the Raiders want to use the salary cap, they're going to want to use it to build around the quarterback position. This has been a team that has been planning on getting a quarterback like Shedeur for months at this point, and they didn't spend a lot of the money because they were planning for their future. But trading for a veteran means using draft capital, and I know the Raiders don't want to use draft capital. They want Telesco to be able to build this thing through the draft. The Raiders want to build this thing through the draft, and if you go out and trade for somebody, you're giving up draft capital, and you're spending a lot of money at the quarterback position. This team wants to use that $108 million that they have in salary, extensions, building a team around the QB. And you can do it around Aidan, who's making $1.2 million. Now, if you want to check out a video that I made earlier in the week, I broke down some Raiders quarterback options that you could look at via trade, that you could look at free agency, all the quarterbacks not in the 2025 NFL draft, and I ranked them from least to most likely to be under center. If you want to go check out that video, it's going to be down in the comments. It's going to be in the description of today's show. Let's go to the final reason here of why Aidan O'Connell could be the Raiders starter. If the Raiders miss on a quarterback in free agency and the draft, it's AOC time, guys. And I don't know how likely this is, and I'm kind of hoping that Tom Brady, maybe the new head coach, maybe it's Mike Vrabel, even if it's Antonio Pierce back, if it's Tom Telesco, that you just put a good plan in place. Because if you go into the draft and you're going, I'm going all in on Shedeur Sanders, just like the Raiders tried to go all in on Jaden Daniels, and it's a swing and a miss, you got to be okay going, you know what? We built a good team around Aidan O'Connell. We built everything possible, and the reason why, if I'm the Raiders, I do this is because if your plan A is Shedeur, I actually think that the offense that the Raiders can build around Shedeur Sanders would actually look very similar to the offense that you would try to build around Aidan O'Connell. So if I'm the Raiders, I'm in free agency, and I'm building everything possible around Shedeur Sanders and around that talent. And if I don't end up getting Shedeur, well, then at least I knew everything that I did to build around Shedeur, I know also benefits Aidan O'Connell. And for that reason, they could end up rolling with Aidan O'Connell. So here's the question, because if you're going to roll with Aidan, how many games are the Raiders going to win with AOC as the starter? I'm going to make you get hit with one more YouTube ad break, and I'm going to give you my answer, because you can say Aidan this, you can say Aidan that. But if you're a playoff caliber team with AOC, should you consider rolling with them? My only problem is this. I don't think that the Raiders would be a playoff caliber team, and for that reason, I am only going to project 7 to 8 wins, and you are hoping for 7 to 8 wins with AOC. Could you run into another one? Yeah. Could the Raiders be 9-8 again with Aidan? Yeah, you could. But I don't want to go back to the Derek Carr days, and I feel like if you go with Aidan O'Connell, you're kind of going back to the Derek Carr days where you're okay being mediocre. You're okay being average. If you're okay being mediocre and average, you're probably also happy that the Raiders beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. I will give you this. I am interested to see what Aidan can do, just because I feel like Aidan has earned some respect from me in terms of he's dealt with different head coaches. He's had to learn different regimes. He's had 4 different offensive play callers, and every single time when you count him out, he kind of just shows up and he proves that, you know what, I'm a lot better than what a lot of people thought I was. And I got to give Aidan his flowers, because in that game against Jacksonville, even though he can't run, he finally started to use his legs a little bit more, started to create a little bit of time. But again, when you're 2-12, now we are 3-12, you don't go into that season going, I think we can have Aidan O'Connell as the next quarterback of this team. And he's done some good things throughout his career. 18 games played, 15 games started, 16 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. And when you've watched him play, he's gotten better and better and better. But starting Aidan at the quarterback position is not going to be intriguing for a lot of new head coaches out there. You're not going to get probably the top OC. And what you're probably going to run into is you're probably going to have to hire another guy, definitely better than Luke Getsy, but you're not going to get that great OC. You're not going to get that great head coach because no team is going to go, I want Aidan O'Connell to be the starter. So you're not going to go into the season with AOC. If anything, it would probably end up being your plan C for the Las Vegas Raiders. So if he is the starter, here's my glass half full on selling you Aidan O'Connell. He's never had a full offseason with just him as the starter. He's going to be able to work with whatever head coach, whatever offensive coordinator. He's getting all the reps, and you build a team around him because I think the offense that you would install around Shedeur Sanders would actually be kind of similar to the offense that you would install around Aidan O'Connell. He's had 4 different play callers in 2 years. That's never easy. He's had a head coach like Antonio Pierce and a head coach like Josh McDaniels. Both have proven that we're in so far over their head, it's not even funny. And here's the last reason. Tom Brady is the perfect mentor for AOC. I think the reason why Aidan was even drafted by McDaniels is because of the comp to Tom Brady. So if you're Aidan, you want to play. But also, if there's a QB, former QB, that can raise the stock, trade stock on Aidan O'Connell, it is Tom Brady. That's my glass half full if the Raiders got to roll with AOC next season.